Hello, Goldsboro crew, Janet and Jody and Natalie. It's Dr. Palermo with a week 5 instructional message for you. 5 out of 15. We're a third of the way through. Some Morgan reading back to Gareth Morgan's Images of Organizations for Organisms, Machines, Organisms, the two main metaphors. Is your organization a machine or is it more organic? Uh, Janet, I hope that the farm metaphor and a more organic metaphor might speak to you, and perhaps that's a metaphor that you'd like to develop in your description of your school uh, and the organization. Um, while I'm there, sure. So I've loaded a Pink Floyd video to think about the machine metaphor, and here's a tree to think about organisms, organic. If we think about the garden, when we plant the seeds and water the seeds and weed the rows and harvest the crops, how can you make that fit the school metaphor? It certainly does when we think about the kindergarten and growing children the right way. So you certainly can have some fun with the garden there or organisms. Uh, yeah. In the Gareth Morgan universe, large chunks of folks would want to divide schools as organizations into machines or gardens. So there you go. And think about, you don't need to write about organisms if you don't want to, but again, if this metaphor aptly described your school and you want to run with it, if you're going to incorporate organism as metaphor in your OA, then maybe you want to write about it this week. I'm not going to require you to. I do ask that you do respond to two different I'm going to spend a lot of time when we meet again next time. No, not an hour, a lot, probably an hour next time when we meet talking about Collins and good to great. But the hedgehog concept, there are three intersecting circles here of culture, and think about those, please. How is that helpful in you describing your site? I know some of you have themes at your schools. Is that your hedgehog concept? Is there one main idea that you can be best in the world at? I think that this stuff maybe ought to be incorporated into your OA. There are certainly avenues where I could think about it and write about my organization using this metaphor of the hedgehog and one thing that we can be best at. So if that resonates with you, then please write something here that you will incorporate in your OA. You don't need to respond to somebody else. And as far as Gruner and Whitaker, the first half of the book is all about that assessment and whether you're using that assessment tool to try to describe the organization, the culture in your organization. The thought of rewiring or improving some aspect of culture in your school is what the second half of the book is all about. So, how do you rewire a school? What about your school perhaps needs to be rewired? Again, I hope that you're incorporating that into your OA. What have you learned about how to rewire a school culture? Well, here's one of my big takeaways from the second half of this book, that there are leverage points, that there are times in the school year, that there are activities during the school year that provide leverage points when you really can move the dial and start to rewire the culture of a school. So in particular, in this is chapter 11, I guess, they talk about starting off the school year in a new way. Having a new principal or administration is an opportunity to move the dial on the school culture. At different points in the school year, at different holidays or weddings or funerals, awards, or recognitions, test scores, when test scores come out. These are all times when there's a crisis, unfortunately, or a loss of life, when people pull together. Um, at Lufkin Middle, unfortunately, we lost a student in a tragic local airplane accident. Well, that was a great way to pull the whole school together. Uh, we created school rituals and a celebration out of that tragedy in order to pull people together and improve the culture of our school. So yes, even tragedy can be an opportunity, a leverage point for something new. So it's week 5. I want you to write a little bit about good to great and a little bit about Grunert and try to incorporate that thinking or that writing into your organizational analysis. You can or don't need to respond to Morgan and the organization thing. And I wondered if you saw last week that I had loaded a cultural walkthrough protocol. I took the book that I've been describing, the Peterson and Deal, and borrowed heavily from it to create this walkthrough protocol. Does that look like something that can work for you? How might you change or improve it? I don't really mean for you to walk through the school 3, 4, 5 times, multiple times. But if you look with different sets of lenses, if you use different eyes to look for different things at different times, that's probably a good thing. I'm not expecting you to write pages and pages of feedback, perhaps some jotting down some observations. And how, again, can that inform you and your analysis of your school as organization? How might you then think about the school culture and how to rewire it? I've written that protocol with the thought that all of us would walk through some schools together and then debrief together what we had seen and found. I think they could be adapted, and Janet, think about how you might do that one-on-one, walking through your school using the protocol as a way to look for some things. I'd also invite you, if you think you want to try to do that, to take your phone or a camera or a video camera and videotape some things. What does the front entrance of your school look like? If you're going to describe it and talk about it, maybe give us a picture to look at too, if you want us to provide us, Jody and Natalie, to provide you some feedback, Janet, on how your school looks. I hope also that Jody and Natalie have gotten permission to use their schools on Saturday, October 5th, when we're at the coast. If that's not going to work, I probably need to know about it soon so I could drop back and change my plans. Right now, the plan is to be in your schools on Saturday and back in Goldsboro on campus at Wayne Learning Center on Sunday, October 6th. But if that's not going to work, we probably need to work on plan B. So check out that culture walkthrough protocol. Give me some feedback on it, please, especially if there's something that you want to change or improve. This is continuous improvement, so I'm sure that you can do that. Janet, think about the farm. That's organization as organism. And anyway, think about that. Have a great week, ladies. Please write or call if you have any questions. Please work on those evidences, the OA and the CDP. I hope it's all going well for you. Please write or call if there's anything I can do to help. Thanks.